Good morning, here's the Sanibel and Captiva Island update as of September 13th, 2023. During the Sanibel City Council meeting on Monday the 11th, one of the agenda items was to cut the budget of money they allocate to CHR by 20%. Technically, all departments are having budget cuts due to the decrease in finances, one of the many after effects of Hurricane Ian. None of the board members really took an issue with this budget cut, but at public comment, a resident took issue and pointed out that this is one area that cannot afford a budget cut. I agree with this resident. CHR is the affordable housing nonprofit that helps retirees and part-time workers live on the island in reasonable priced housing. I have voiced my displeasure about CHR in the past with how they handled their residents after Hurricane Ian, but I believe they have learned from their mistakes and they are currently doing a lot better helping the residents in the program. I think this was because they had a change in some staff members. CHR is a nonprofit, but it does receive some funds from the city of Sanibel. With it being a nonprofit, I would think that any budget cuts would negatively affect the residents in the program. On the other hand, the city manager put forward a motion to allow CHR to forgo around $20,000 in debt payments to the city for the next 2 years. I'm hoping that that would kind of even out the budget cut they are facing. So the reason CHR has debt payments to the city is they do rent some buildings owned by the city to house CHR residents. The city also discussed possible ways to recognize September 28th, Hurricane Ian's first year anniversary. They all agree a celebration is not in order, but some kind of recognition ceremony at the lighthouse was determined to be a good idea. It was mentioned that 4 Sanibel residents lost their lives during Hurricane Ian, and over 150 people lost their lives in the Fort Myers area. For the 4 Sanibel residents who lost their lives, only 2 have been officially confirmed. I assume that means the 2 not confirmed are because their bodies were never recovered. That is truly heartbreaking and a very sad situation. Sanibel is on the road to recovery, but unfortunately it has been a lot slower recovery than expected, slower than a lot of people assumed, mainly because insurance companies are being very difficult on the payouts. A lot of people just don't have enough money to rebuild their houses. Distressed property complaints were mentioned, like a lot of residents are complaining about distressed properties, so that means houses that were destroyed that the owners have made no attempt to clean them up in the last year. So far, the Code Compliance Office, there has been 76 official complaints, but there have been way more verbal complaints made to various city council members. The Code Compliance Office does have employees working on these complaints, but in my opinion, I doubt any of these distressed properties get cleaned up anytime soon. Either you have owners who can't afford to clean up their properties, or you have owners who don't live on the island full time, so they really are not in a hurry to fix their secondary properties. That's just an ongoing issue Sanibel has had even before Hurricane Ian. For the people who don't live there all year round, they don't always do the best at maintaining their property. So it's just compounded now with Hurricane Ian, and people just haven't returned to the island even though it's been almost a year. So anyway, that's all for now. I will have another update tomorrow. I've got a couple more meetings to listen to, so I'm sure there will be more updates. Thanks for listening.